Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me. Today I get to share with you two projects I'm going to be making with the Club La La Land Crafts July 2018 product kit. The July kit came with two stamp sets, and then it also comes with coordinating theme dies. Here's what they look like, and if you missed the unboxing, I'll leave it at the end. That way it gives you a little bit more details on about the stamps in the product kit. But it does come with the cute little flower box. It's a 3D flower box with flowers and then a little watering pail. This is actually the product kit. Product kit is a monthly subscription. You get two stamp sets and coordinating theme dies. And then if you just want the dies, there's that option available. And if you just want the stamp set, that's also available. And I'll leave links in the description area for you. But we're going to start off. I grabbed a piece of Nina 80-pound cardstock. I'm grabbing my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to ink up my image. This is Garden Marcy, and she is so pretty. If you love to color, I think these stamps are just fantastic. But I'm going to color in my little Garden Marcy with my Copic markers. Now, I left the caps out for you guys so you know what colors that I used. And then I left the coloring in for all my cards today. I always do this with the Club La La Land Crafts product kits, but I'm going to play a little bit of music, that way you don't have to hear me ramble, but as soon as the music's done, I will catch you back. Okay, my coloring is just about done. I am going to take a little RV14 and just go over her lips to darken them just a bit. And then I'm also going to take my white gel pen. Now I'm going to dot her eyes, but I'm also going to add a little bit of accent to her hair bow and also to her dress. The dress, I just added some polka dots around the top and bottom. And then for her bow, I just added a few little accents just to make it stand out, since it was a lot of yellow going on. Okay, so I fussy cut her out, and I did leave a little bit of a white border, and then I also die cut out 3 of my flowers, and then also my watering can. I left them inside my paper because I'm going to color them in also with my Copic markers. For me, it's a lot easier because I can be messy. I don't have to worry about going outside the lines with these. But for my watering can, I'm just using grays. I don't know if you can see the numbers, but they're C1, C3, and C6. And then my flowers, I decided to leave them white with a yellow center, almost like a daisy. And so I just used one of my yellow Copics. And then also for my greenery, I'm going to add 2 of my green colors here, just to do a little bit of shading. Now once they're all colored in, I'm going to punch out the negative pieces here, and then we're going to build a card. So there's all of our colored in images. Now I'm going to grab some pattern paper from my stash. The pattern paper I'm using today is from a very old paper pad. It's from We Are Memory Keepers. It's called Veal and Groovy. Most all my papers are very old, but they are still beautiful, so I'm going to use them up. Now for this pattern paper here, it is a 1 3/4 inch strip. I'm going to add some lace trim on the very bottom. I thought this would just be really cutesy for this card. I like yellows and whites. I want to go with like a daisy theme. So I just attached that with my tape runner. And then I'm going to adhere my pattern paper to my card base. My card base today is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch side folding card base. And so we're going to make a side folding card. I thought about adding a little bit more trim, and then decided just stick with what I had. I thought it looked really cute. Okay, now this is yellow and white stripe pattern paper. I have a strip long enough to go the length of my card base, so I just cut 2 same size strips. Marcy's on the larger side, so I thought she would be able to cover the seam so it would look like one continuous strip. But I'm going to stamp my sentiment. The sentiment says, "Plant the seeds of love wherever you go," which is just so pretty. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add my flowers right on the very top of my sentiment strip here. For my last one, I'm actually going to cut in half. And then I'll add 1 piece to the end here, and then I'll add my 2 flowers on that smaller piece. I'm going to scoot that towards the middle just a bit. Okay, now I'm going to add a piece of foam tape behind my sentiment. My sentiment strip is actually a 3/4 inch stripe of pattern paper. I don't think I mentioned that. But adding some foam tape, and then we'll just remove the release paper and place that in this towards the bottom of the green pattern paper there. And here you can see there's a little bit of a gap. The pattern paper I'm using actually has a distressing on it. Up close there's like some gray distressing, so I'm trying to make it look continuous. That's why there's that little gap. But I just added foam tape behind my Garden Marcy. I'll do the same thing with my little flowering pail. I didn't want it's not really a pail, I guess, it's my watering can. But I didn't want it to overlap on top of my sentiment, so I'm just kind of tucking it underneath her feet there. Okay, I think she looks so sweet. Now for a little bit of shimmer, I'm going to go over the center of my daisies with some Nuvo glitter drops. This is White Blizzard. It's a real pretty iridescent glitter. It looks like I'm covering up the yellow centers of my flowers, but when the glitter dries, it's going to be a super shiny yellow glittery color. But that's my first project. I think she turned out so sweet. Here's some close-ups. Okay, now we're going to move along to our second project. We're going to do some more stamping. So I grabbed my garden fairies here. These are so adorable. I'm inking them up again with Memento ink and stamping them on my 80-pound cardstock from Nina. And originally I was just going to go with one, but I'm going to grab another one also. This one has a little kick in her step, holding a little bouquet. But I'm going to again leave the coloring in. I am going to play a little bit of music for you guys again. And I'll catch you back as soon as I'm done coloring. Okay, I got my little garden fairies all colored in, and I'm just going to fussy cut them out, leaving a little bit of a white border. And you can tell I used some yellows and greens to color them in, and they look so sweet. I turned their little hair into little hair pretties, so I kind of changed it up a bit. Now I'm using the same pattern papers from the paper pad I mentioned earlier, and for my background I am using a double stitched square die. I'm going to cut out a square panel, and so once this is cut out, I wanted to create some circles in this panel. I'm actually going to almost like half circles around it, and so I'm using the second largest of the double stitch circle die set. And I thought while I'm at it, I'm going to take a piece of this pattern paper, place it right behind the panel that I just cut out, and then when I cut out my circles, I'll have two of the same circles in the pattern papers. So I could actually create two different cards with the negative pieces. But I wanted the circles to be filled in with different pattern papers, just to add a little bit of interest. And I thought about putting that in my entire card base, but then changed my mind. We're just going to go with the square panel. Okay, I'm going to grab my card base. Card base is a side folding card base today for this project. And using my square panel as a guide, I'm going to place it on my card base. And then using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere the pattern paper circles back in their homes. Now next, I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this orangish, kind of a yellowish pattern paper. But before we do that, I think I'm going to add some more daisies. So I'm going to cut out 3 daisies with my flower die there. And I'm going to color them in the same exact way as I did with my first project, just using my markers. I'm just going to punch out those negative pieces again. And I thought those would look really pretty right above my sentiment. Okay, now I'm going to grab my VersaFine ink, and we're going to place, I'm actually going to trim down this paper here, just so it's the same length as my square panel. Now we're ready to add the sentiment. Sentiment for this card says, "Let your dreams bloom." It's so pretty. I'm going to ink it up, and then I'm going to look at it, make sure it's facing the right way. And I still got it upside down, which is pretty typical of me. So all I did was just flip it around, and then that way it went from being on the right side to the left side. So I think this is it was not too bad of a mistake. I took my square panel and added foam tape behind it to pop it up, give it a little bit of dimension. And then I thought I'm going to bring in some more of this yellow pattern paper that was the same as I used for my sentiment. So I cut out 3 of the smallest circles in the double stitch circle die set. I'm going to place these circles in the center of the larger circles in the pattern paper. But I did add some foam squares behind there, just to bring up that yellow from the sentiment. Okay, now we're going to grab our glue, and we're going to attach our flowers to the top of our sentiment. A 2.5 fit across the sentiment beautifully, which is a good thing, because on that third one of the centers of the flowers actually pop out, but I left them in because I wanted, the yellow centers. So on my very last flower, I couldn't find that little extra dot that went in the center of the flower piece. So it was a good thing that I only needed 2 of the flowers. But I popped that up with some foam tape. We're going to place that in the very bottom of our card base. Just love those little flowers. So cute. Now I wanted the green little fairy to be peeking out of one of the circles. And then this little yellow fairy, we're going to add some foam squares behind and place right next to our sentiment. Now for a little bit of shimmer, I'm going to go over my little fairy wings with my Nuvo glitter drops, the same ones we used for card number 1. Going over the wings and the little centers of the flowers. And that's my second project, using the Club La La Land Crafts product kit for July 2018. Now keep a lookout, guys, because on August 15th is release day for the August kit, and it is so sweet. So keep a lookout for that. Thanks for joining me, guys. Links will be below if you're interested, or over on my blog. But have a fantastic day, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.